As I said, we are fortunate this morning to hear from Lily Hendershot and Ann Penny of the Edmonds Chamber Foundation. Lily is president of the foundation. She's co-owner and art director of the Branding Iron, located in Harbor Square, and a part-time professor at Edmonds College. Additionally, Lily serves on the board of the Edmonds Waterfront Center and volunteers in the nursery at Calvary Fellowship. And Ann Penny is not only an incredible volunteer for the Chamber, she also serves on the Chamber Foundation Board and on the Edmonds Chamber Board of Directors. She works in the Career Center at Edmonds College. She's been doing that work for 20 years, serving the students of Edmonds College. And we're delighted to be joined by both of them. So thank you so much, Lily and Ann. Cool.
Great. So I just wanted to start off by talking about how the Edmonds Chamber Foundation was formed and why it exists. And so I believe it was it 2012? I think that it was formed, and it was in order to accept grants such as the Hazel Miller grant that allows us to do the fireworks. Also, since it is a 501c3, we are able to accept donations from businesses and individuals that would like to be able to report that when they do their taxes. And so that was kind of the reason that we got started. And of course, our mission is really to help benefit the Chamber and the events that we're doing that aim to improve our community and the economic vitality of it. And so that's why we formed. So you want to go to the next? Is it not working? Try. So one thing you might not know about the Chamber Foundation is that we support the Chamber in events. And so in the past, we've done some fundraising events such as Comedy for Scholarships. We had just gotten this off the ground before the pandemic hit. And so then it had to halt for a couple of years during the pandemic. We do plan on getting it restarted. And so we're just trying to figure out the timing of when to get that going, because it was a lot of fun and it helped to fund scholarships for Edmonds College. And so in just talking about it, do you want to go over the scholarships real quick before we go on to the
gosh. You know, I can never keep, oh, sorry. Because of the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. At any rate, yeah, I can never remember the details because it's changed a little bit. But each year we would give, the foundation would give a student at Edmonds College a full ride scholarship for that 1 year, and then half a full ride for the second year. And we've done that for several years. Yeah, that's really exciting.
3 areas.
Yeah, what are those 3 areas?
Okay, so we've got healthcare, the arts, and business. And so basically that helps to, our hope is that those students go back into the community, start businesses, work at the hospital, you know, and basically give back to the community through using those scholarships.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's been very rewarding so far. But we do fundraising in order to do that, and definitely appreciate donations. So then, of course, we support the Edmonds Kind of Fourth. Basically, we help to fund the fireworks portion of the 4th of July, and of course, love those donations as well. So then, of course, next week on Tuesday is our sand sculpting contest. We're going to go more into that in just a few slides. But we just want to make sure that you guys know that this is a family-friendly event, all ages, and that it's happening on Tuesday at noon. But we'll go into that more. And last October, we did the first annual pumpkin carving contest, which was a free event for kids, and we did it at the Edmonds Waterfront Center. And I'm thinking we're going to keep that going because it was well attended. Everyone had fun. For the younger kids, they got to decorate pumpkins with these paint markers. And then the older kids were able to carve the pumpkins. And then, of course, we judged them and gave out candy prizes. And then we have the annual tree lighting ceremony. So that's always right after Thanksgiving. And it's a fun event. We have Santa, the kids come and get to meet Santa. We have caroling, and it's, you know, there's always hot cocoa and a couple little booths. But it's a great event and just kind of helps kick off the holiday cheer. Okay, so the next slide. All right, you want to talk about sand sculpture?
Sure. I love this event. This is so fun. So here's a picture of last year's sand sculpting event. Peter Harvey had one of Edmonds College interns there that day, and he took video and we pulled a couple stills out of that. So remember, I'm always plugging interns for all of you. Okay, so at any rate, here we are. This is a sort of a widescreen shot. And then you probably, yeah, I know, what's that? It's in the sand and it looks
Like an orca.
oh, yeah, it looks like a workout. So anyway, yeah, you can, and I put that in so that you know that this is not like professional sand sculpting, right?
This is all ability.
Yeah, all abilities. And here are our esteemed judges. Yeah, professional, well, really professional judges, but that's who was judging. So yeah, we have all these different categories. We have daycares come, we have families with kids. We had one actually fellow that travels around and goes to different sand sculpting, so he was kind of professional. But it's really fun, and we have it at low tide, so there's lots of beach to work with. So it's a really fun event, just right down there at the beach.
Yeah, so the categories for the sand sculpting are going to be, there's a kids category, families, adults, and then kind of nonprofit and organizations. So if you have any organizations that you want to come and do a sand sculpture, you can do that too. So for instance, if there's a church group that wants to get together and do that, or maybe Boys and Girls Club, or, you know, so it could be something large, it could be something small. But yeah, I mean, this is really for everyone. And then to get the details out there of when it's happening, it's going to be Tuesday at noon. You get 2 hours to sculpt. So judging starts at 2 o'clock and awards are given out by 2:30. And it is down at Marina Beach Park. One thing to think about is the environment. So, you know, we allow people to find things and incorporate them into their sand sculptures, but you want to make sure if you're grabbing something like seaweed that it's dried out, it is not wet, because you don't want to harm the environment. And so, you know, collecting things like shells and stuff and putting them into it, that's totally fine. We just don't want to harm the environment when we're collecting things. All right, so Wish Fund, do you want to start off with that one?
I'll start off with this. So in 2019, I think it was 2019, might have been 2018.
Yeah.
The foundation created the Wish Fund to help small businesses get back on their feet after an unexpected disaster. Wish, and you can't really see our logo, but Wish stands for when inconvenient stuff. We had another expletive in there and we decided that stuff was more appropriate. When inconvenient stuff happens. So grants of up to $1,000 are awarded to local businesses that have experienced some damage, you know, vandalism, burglary, fire, wind, flooding, that sort of thing. And sometimes it's just enough to help them recover and get back on their feet. And we've got some examples coming up.
Yeah, so before that, one of the biggest things that happens is that if someone has insurance that's going to cover some of these things, there's always a deductible. And maybe that's $1,000, maybe that's $2,000. And the biggest thing is this helps the business to cover that deductible, or if they don't have insurance at all, it's something that it helps to give them hope, you know, and it's really important. And unfortunately, we've actually had to use it a lot more than we expected. So let's go into that. So some examples are Midnight Cookie Company in Fredale Village. They actually had someone, wasn't it like 2 a.m.?
Yeah,
No, it wasn't that late.
it wasn't that late, it was about 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yeah, that's right. And someone came up to, it's kind of like this drive up or walk up window that you get your cookies from. And they came and held them at gunpoint. And it really scared the workers there. And anyway, so one of the things that was stolen was a phone from one of the employees. And because, you know, if you're at gunpoint, you're going to give them what they ask for, right? And so we had given them a Wish Fund grant to help cover the cost of the phone that the employee had lost. And then, of course, we've had Chef Dane Catering. Was that one a break-in? I can't remember.
Yeah, and they stole, they went to the catering kitchen that Chef Dane has and took, I think they took a point of sale machine, and then laptop and some other equipment. The Quichon Noodles, Plum Tree Plaza on 99, that whole strip, yeah,
Burnt
burned.
down.
Right, so several of those businesses, we've helped them.
I think there were 7.
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
That received the wish fund.
7 received the Wish Fund, that's great. And of course, Pear Tree Consignment. And then during the pandemic, we started a program, business-to-business support grants. And the way it was, businesses helping businesses. So we would award a grant to a business so that they could get some help from another business to help them with marketing or accounting or you know, some new signage, whatever they needed to help their business stay afloat during that really tough time. 15 businesses were awarded funds.
no, it was actually 89 was the total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's
so we
huge.
ended up getting help from the Edmonds, the city of Edmonds. They gave us a huge grant
That's
to be able to offer more. So it started out as the 15 that we supported with our funding. And then once we got that grant, we were able to help a total of 89 businesses. And these were dollar amounts that ranged from $500 to $1,000 each business. And it just depended on what they needed. So some of them needed help figuring out, you know, how to get additional funding. And so then the ones that needed that, we didn't necessarily give them the grant, but we instead showed them where to go to fill out the paperwork to actually get a much larger grant, since there were lots of funding opportunities during the pandemic. And but yeah, it really ranged. Some people needed help with marketing, one of the biggest things was getting their businesses online, because there were a lot of businesses that didn't have websites or they couldn't sell their product online. So when we were shut down and people weren't able to physically go shopping, it was like, okay, well now how am I going to buy that birthday present for my niece? Or now how do I get this outfit for this event, or, you know, and so a lot of things had to transition from in-store to online. And that was one of the biggest uses of that grant for small businesses.
Here's Chef Dane with we always have a giant check.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Pear Tree Consignment. There's Midnight Cookie Company. It was cold that day.
Yep.
So, yeah, the Wish Fund is really business and how you can help. Business is helping business. The dollars come from donations from local business and community members. We've gotten some very large, gracious donations from community members. log cabin volunteers of all things. Yeah, in Edmonds, our sense of community is strong, and we show this in numerous small ways, including donating to this local wish fund. Make your donation now.
So yeah, that is our financial ask. If you guys have the funds to do it and would like to give back to the community, this is something that directly impacts businesses that are hurting and need our support. And so, yeah, if you have financial means to do that, we would love to get those donations.
Yeah, we'd love to have, and, these are businesses that you know, right? So it could be you. Chef
Right.
Dane said that they had donated to the fund and never thought that they would use it, and sure enough, about a year and a half later, they were.
Yeah, there are other businesses that we know of that, are going to need those funds coming up because of, things are just happening on a weekly basis, and the biggest scare right now is, what if we run out of funds and we're not able to help those businesses? And so that's one of our biggest concerns right now, is that we want to make sure that we have enough in the fund to keep it going so that we don't have to turn anyone away. Because, what if it's that thing that gives a business enough hope to keep going so that they don't close their doors? That's our goal.
The second ask is that me and Lillyan,
Yes.
it's the two of us, we really need you.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, our foundation has gotten a little bit small recently because we've lost members and we haven't been able to add to it. Pandemic kind of messed with that a little bit. Anyway, we need board members. So we meet on the first Friday of the month on Zoom, and it's 2:00. And so, you don't even have to leave your office. You just have to get onto a Zoom call for 1 hour, first Friday of the month, and then of course, help out with events as needed. And so that's our ask. We would love more board members.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We're a fun group. We do fun things. And so, yeah, if you can find a little bit of time in your life to join us, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Questions? Yep.
So is it just the two of you on the board, or are there a few more?
So we also have Yusuf,
See,
but he's like,
yeah, Yusuf Hancia is with First Finance. I always get
Yeah,
that.
First Financial Mill Creek. But since he moved from the Edmonds location to the Mill Creek location, it's been harder for him to get out of the office, especially because they've been short-staffed for like the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so sometimes he's the only one there and he literally cannot leave.
But he can join us on Zoom, so he's
Yeah.
our treasurer.
Yes.
So, I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as a foundation, do you have a goal for a certain balance in your account to keep?
Of course, yep. Yeah, so Yusuf keeps all the financials, but yeah, at the beginning of the year, the first thing we do is we figure out what our goal setting is going to be and what our actuals are, and we basically have to try and work towards maintaining, so.
And that's different from the Wish Fund, right? So
Yeah.
you got the foundation, right, budget, and then you have the Wish Fund. and that's-
Yeah, basically we have different things, like we've got money that we need for the scholarships, we have money that we need for the Wish Fund part of it, and we have money that we need to go into the chamber events. And so those are kind of our three main buckets that we're working.
Budgeted items?
Yeah, yep. Yes, Carl.
So two things, can you go back to the second slide?
And back when I first joined the foundation,
Board. There you
Carl
go.
was,
So that is a fabulous logo, and I'm just wondering who designed that beautiful logo?
okay, so there's a story here. So the foundation had hired me to come in and design the logo and create the website. And when I visited their meeting and went through the cost and everything, Carl looks at me and he says, "Lily, would you like to be a board member?"
Okay, and just another comment.
Yeah.
One fabulous way to donate to a private nonprofit 501c3 organization and get a charitable benefit is donate out of your IRA. If you
Yes.
haven't done that, you can donate directly from your IRA to the Edmonds Chamber Foundation. You can't take money out and then write a check. That would be bad. But if you can donate directly and your investment company can help you with that, that way you're making $1,000 charitable donation or whatever amount you want. And that avoids having to pay income tax on that amount. So it's a great way to make a sizable benefit and get a tax advantage out of it. So consider that, especially for a larger piece. Is it okay to
Thank
say
you.
that?
Oh, yes,
Carl?
definitely.
Quick question, does that count as an RMD?
It does.
Oh, good.
Required minimum distribution.
I believe that it does. You might want to consult with your tax preparer.
Okay.
Yes, Richard?
Oh, really, I've done a little bit of work with nonprofits. We have some great benefactors in Edmonds. And sometimes people like to say, would you use this for a college student? Would you use this for the fireworks? If that particularly event doesn't happen, do you then roll it forward into the taste or some other?
So we actually had a similar problem that happened this year since we weren't doing the fireworks here in Edmonds this year, just because the construction that's going on at the park, we didn't have a place to do the fireworks. So the funding rolled into the Mount Lake Terrace fireworks. And so we basically supported their event and helped to advertise their event and basically combine communities for that. Now, if someone donates and they earmark it for something very specific, then we can't use it for something else. We have to use it for that thing that it's been earmarked for. And so, you know, if you are donating and you say, this is going to the tree lighting ceremony, that is what it has to go to. And so it will be saved and used, like if we need to replace, you know, the lights that go on the tree, if we need to replace those, which happens every couple of years, then the money would go to that. So, yeah.
I think Barbara had a question.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, I just wondered what other ways you're using to promote the foundation. How else are you getting out to let people know about it?
That, you know, we try to do it with events and then sometimes doing press releases with the local news sources. But, you know, part of our problem is we're a very small group and we need to expand. We need more members, more board members in order to have enough people to really get the word out. So that's one thing we're struggling with right now. So for instance, you know, sand sculpting event, we have the posters that are out in the community. Chamber has put it on their website. We have it on the foundation website. It's in the email blast that goes out every week. But, you know, I think have you shared it on social media too? But
I think so.
I think so. I don't know. We'll have to check back. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard though, because we rely on the chamber for a lot of our marketing. And, but we need people to do some of the groundwork too. And yeah, we need more hands in the pot.
Nice. Do we have a question over here?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was more like a comment about the psychological impact of getting the help from the foundation. I became aware this week of a chamber member that had suffered loss, and I'm not going to use his name, but he is so downhearted that he was actually talking about returning to his country of origin. And I think that knowing how much the community cares and appreciates him and his services would do a lot for him right now. So it's not just the financial, although that is huge. Yes, the psychological impact of creating that community connection.
I'll add to that when, because you know, when it comes time to distribute the funds, we try to go and take a nice picture and like let the community know through having the picture with the big check that this fund is available and how we're trying to spread hope for the business owners who are impacted. One of the victims of the plum tree Plaza Fire, applied a little later, had been so downhearted from losing his business that it took him a long time to actually apply for the fund. And he's not sure if he'll be able to reopen again. Certainly not in the same location, maybe not the same business, but a different business. He really wants to, and he just kept expressing. I mean, we talked for like an hour, and he just was so thankful to the community that this, even though it's not going to be enough money to reopen his business tomorrow, it was just that indication of help and community that made him feel like he could keep going and keep trying. So it really is remarkable when you get to see that and have those conversations with the folks who receive it.
So when a business has something happen, do you guys reach out to them, or it's just up to them to?
Yeah, if we see it in the news or on social media or wherever it's, broadcasted out, then we'll reach out to the business, let them know that the Wish Fund exists, and we show them how to apply, because we do have an application on the website that you have to fill out in order to get the funding. And so, then it's up to them to apply. Any other questions?
Fascinating to learn about. I didn't know this exists, and it's my fault for not. I mean, I guess the chamber is better, but it's really great to know that you guys exist. And I think the Wish Fund, especially, the insurance companies in town need to know, like they can, because people are reporting losses all the time, and so to know that this is there is really good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.